Hey, good to see you, wonderful students. So check it out. I'm doing SBAC right now, but y'all are going to get some learning. So get task 34 out and take some notes. Here we go. So example 1. We've done this stuff before where we got radical expressions and we got to turn them into exponential form right here. So first thing you want to do is figure out what everything's being raised to. 64 to the what? 64 to the 1 right here. Okay, all right. And then x is being raised to the 5. Y is being raised to the 2. Cool. Do y'all remember where the root is? The root is right here. Okay, so here's what you need to write down. Okay, this is what you need to write down. The root is always on the bottom. Okay, so remember it's always on the bottom of the fraction. Okay, always. So you're going to make these radicals into exponentials that have exponents that are fractions. So for instance, this is going to be 64. So you first start with 64, and 64 is to the 1. So you go 1 over the root. 1 over the root. The root is always going to be on the bottom. So it's going to be 34 to the 1 over 3. Then you got next, you go to your x to the 5. So then you go x to the 5. You just write down x to the 5 over the root, which is 3. And then moving on to the y term, we've got y to the 2. So write down y to the 2, except you're going to put over 3. All over 3. Cool. You guys are really good at this. Now, something that is a little bit new is that I want you to actually evaluate this guy. What is 64 to the 1 over 3? Well, I'm going to put a little bit of room here. 64 to the 1 over 3. Let's write it out. 64 to the 1 over 3. What this is saying is what times what times what will give you 64. So what times itself 3 times will give you 64? Well, you guys are probably already guessing it. It's going to be 4. Here's 4 times 4 times 4. That will actually give you 64. So 64 to the 1/3 is actually equal to 4. And you don't have to put plus or minus because it's an odd root. Okay, cool. So we know 64 to the 1/3 is equal to 4. So let's go ahead back over here, and instead of putting 64 to the 1/3, put 4, because that's what we know it is. So put 4, and then bring everything else down. X to the 5/3, and then y to the 2/3. And then you're done. Bam. Okay. All right, let's move on to example 2. Okay, something similar. We've got to first, like we did over here, figure out what everything is being raised to. Here, check it out. We got some parentheses right here. That means this whole thing in parentheses is being raised to the 5. So that means it's going to be in parentheses 3x. Our root is 3. So it's going to be 3x to the 5. So just write 3x to the 5 and then over the root, which is 3. 3x to the 5 over 3. And you're done. Easy peasy. Just remember that if everything is in parentheses, then it goes all together in parentheses when you write it out in exponential form. All right, example 3. Uh-oh. Do you see the 6 right here? The 6 is being mischievous, so we need to figure out what to do with this guy. Anyways, also what happens when I don't have a little number right here? If I don't have a little number right here, you know what kind of root it is. It is a square root. There's an invisible 2 right there. I'll put a little invisible 2 there, okay? So now let's do what we did over here, which was write down what everything is being raised to. So here we got 49 to the 1. A is by itself, so that means there's an invisible 1 right there. And then b squared. Cool. So let's just rewrite it. That's going to be 6 times, so you just rewrite the 6. 6 times 49 to the 1, so 49 to the 1 over your root, which is 2. So 49 to the 1 over 2. And then you write down the a. So a to the 1 over 2. So you just write down a, and then it's a to the 1, and then you divide it by the root. And then you have b squared. So write b squared. B to the 2 over the root, which is 2. Sweet. Okay. So let's figure out what this guy is. What is 49 to the 1/2? We'll just leave these variables alone because we don't know what they are. But 49 to the 1/2, we can figure that out. So I'm going to draw a little line again. 49 to the 1/2 equals, so we know it's divided by 2, so it's going to be what? Times what gives me 49? Okay, so what times what gives me 49? Well, some of y'all probably already know 7 times 7 gives me 49. Also, -7 times -7 gives me 49 as well. So that means 49 to the 1/2 equals plus or minus 7. Cool. That's just square rooting. Now let us plug in what 49 to the 1/2 is, which is 7. Let's plug it in over here. So we have 6 times 49. I'm just rewriting it. To the 1/2. A to the 1/2. B to the 2 over 2. Well, we know 49 to the 1/2 is actually just 7, plus or minus 7. You don't have to put plus or minus when you plug it in. So it's going to be 6 times 7 instead of 49 to the 1/2. You just put 7 there. And then A to the 1/2, B to the 2 over 2. Nice. Ooh, what's 2 divided by 2? 1. So that's going to be 6 times 7. A to the 1/2. So just like if you can reduce, so it's going to be B to the 1. If you can reduce the fraction, reduce it. Okay? On the exam, you're definitely going to see something that needs to be reduced. Okay? A fraction that can be reduced. So then, oh, what else can we do? Oh, look, we can multiply. 6 times 7 is 42. And then you just bring everything else down. And that's your answer. Cool. So, do you guys need another example? You do? All right. I'll do another example. I'll do another example for you. Okay. All right. Fine. Number 1. Okay. Let's look at number 1. So for this one, we got 10 on the outside here. So I'm just going to write 10 over here times. Okay. We need to write down our exponents for everything on the inside of the radicand. So 81 to the 1. There's an invisible 1 there. W to the 2. Okay. Z has nothing. So that's Z to the 1. And our root is 4. Okay, that's our root. So then I'm going to write down 81 to the 1 over 4. So 81 to the 1 over 4. And then we have W squared. So W to the 2 over the root, which is 4. All right, next Z to the 1. So that's going to be Z to the 1 over 4. So Z to the 1 divided by the root, Z to the 1 over 4. Sweet. So let's figure out what 81 to the 1/4 is. 81 to the 1 over 4. So this means, since it's to the 1 over 4, that means what times what times what times what? 4 times now, 4 times, because it's to the 1 over 4. What times itself 4 times will give me 81? What do you guys think? Well, it's going to be 3. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is going to give me 81. Also, -3 times -3 times -3 times -3 would give me 81. So 81 to the 1 over 4 equals plus or minus 3. So we have what this is equal to. Now let's plug it back into what we have up here. I'm just going to rewrite it. 10 times 81 to the 1 over 4, W to the 2 over 4, Z to the 1 over 4. So I'm just rewriting this. And then we know that 81 to the 1 over 4 is just 3, plus or minus 3, but you can just put 3 in there, okay? You don't have to put plus or minus because we're plugging it in. So it's going to be 10 times 3, w to the 2 over 4, z to the 1 over 4, okay? All right, cool. So obviously we can multiply these guys. 10 times 3 is 30. And then you have w to the 2 over 4, z to the 1 over 4. Can you reduce any of these fractions? Can you reduce either of these? Yeah, you can. So that's going to be 2 over 4, which is, if you divide by 2 on the top and bottom, then you get 30 w to the 1 over 2 and z to the 1 over 4. And that's your answer. So this might seem a little bit complicated for you guys since I'm not here, but do your best because your exam is next week. And hopefully you guys do great, and I'll see you guys on Friday. And this is the annoying dog who keeps barking and whining when I'm trying to do a video for you guys. Anyways, enjoy, have a good time. You can replay this video if you need to. Bye.